Jim the Ape Want Proof. Hello again, humans. It is I, Jim the Ape, and this is the unexpected continuation of my Dead Horse series, which previously featured responses to Ashley Mardell and a snarky little collection of SJWs who lack the self-awareness to realize that they do everything they accuse anti-SJWs of doing, and in some cases, even worse. I hadn't planned on making this a series, but I guess as long as I'm slow as fuck in responding to these kinds of videos, there will be more Dead Horses to come. Oh, and this is kind of a violation of the good doctor's no turd twice rule, but it's different because it's a solo video by Riley/Justin Dennis, as opposed to the supporting role he had in Ashley Mardell's video. But enough pointless blathering out of me, let's get started.
Would you date someone who's trans?
Would you date someone who's a child? There's a point to this, just bear with me.
Would you date someone who's black?
Would you date someone who's a dog?
Would you date someone who's fat?
Would you date someone who's in a persistent vegetative state?
Would you date someone who's disabled?
Would you date someone who's dead? Now, I want you to remember my examples when he gets to his point, and let's see how his logic tracks.
Would you date a trans person, honestly? Think about it for a second.
I have. And for the record, I probably would if I clicked with their personality. Like, I know she's way out of my league, but I would totally be down for going out with Blair White.
Well, if you said no, I'm sorry, but that's pretty discriminatory.
Well, I'm sure I'm discriminating by only considering the possibility of dating a real trans person who sees through your ideological bullshit, rather than broadly saying, yes, I would date any trans person, even a trans trender like you, Justin, I mean Riley. Anyway, let's apply that logic to my examples, all of which are illegal to have sex with, which is often a component of dating. I'm not discriminating by not wanting to date and or have sex with those people. I'm just obeying the law. Besides, I don't find any of the traits I listed before to be attractive. So do you see how me not wanting to date certain kinds of people doesn't mean I'm discriminating? I mean, I know it's not the best comparison, but hopefully you still get my point.
Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you're a horrible person who hates trans people. There was probably a time in my life when I said I wouldn't date a trans person, but since then I've thought critically about it and changed my mind. I could sit here and show you photos of conventionally attractive trans people. There are definitely trans people who you would never know are trans unless they told you, because they pass for cis. And that might convince some of you. But I think arguing that you would only like a trans person if you didn't know they were trans is a poor argument. I think you could be attracted to any trans person, whether they pass or not.
Not if you're not bisexual. If you're only attracted to one sex... Do I really have to explain this to adults?
I think the main concern that people have in regards to dating a trans person is that they won't have the genitals that they expect.
Yeah, and people who are not bisexual tend to only enjoy having sex with one kind of genitals. Fuck, how hard is that to understand?
Because we associate penises with men and vaginas with women.
You don't say. Gee, I wonder how that preconception could have snuck in there.
Some people think they could never date a trans man with a vagina or a trans woman with a penis. But I think that people are more than their genitals. I think that you could feel attraction to someone without knowing what's between their legs. And if you were to say that you're only attracted to people with vaginas or people with penises, it really feels like you're reducing people just to their genitals. You're kind of objectifying them, but you're thinking of them more as genitals than objects. So I guess you're kind of genitalifying them?
Yeah, that'll never catch on as a buzzword, but it's fair that people would want a particular set of genitals to have sex with because of how different the penis and the vagina are structurally. And it makes even more sense when you factor in the desire to procreate. Two penises can't make a baby, Riley. That's just biology 101.
If you met someone who was extremely attractive, had a great personality, but didn't have the genitals that you wanted, you might be surprised to find that it isn't a deal breaker. As someone who is trans and gay, sometimes people ask me with a very accusatory tone if I would date a girl with a penis. Because there's this stereotype that trans lesbians are just predatory cis men creeping on cis women.
Gee, I wonder why anyone would think that about you. Could it be your California surfer dude hairstyle? Your pathetic attempt at wingtip eyeliner, which I'm assuming is shitty because Blair White said so? Or maybe it's your gigantic fucking Adam's apple. Holy shit, you could cut diamonds with that thing.
But the thing is, I absolutely could be attracted to to a woman with a penis. I could be attracted to any woman, cis or trans. If I find you attractive, I don't care what you have down there. But we know that sexual orientations are more innate than learned. They're more nature and less nurture. Gay conversion therapy has been proven not to work, but you can unlearn your own prejudices. It just takes time and conscious effort.
Oh, so gay conversion therapy doesn't work, but cis conversion therapy does. Got it.
And the way that we talk about potentially dating trans people has a lot in common with the way we discuss other preferences. Saying that you're not attracted to fat people isn't innate. It's informed by a society that tells you that being thin is ideal. Everything in the media you consume is bombarding you with messages that skinny is beautiful and fat is ugly. And even the nicest of people absorb these messages to some degree. But again, if you find someone attractive and really enjoy spending time with them, there's no reason why their weight should be a factor. Especially since we know that the relationship between weight and health is extremely complex, and you really can't make any moral judgments on a person based on their weight.
Well, I'd agree that being fat doesn't make you a bad person, but it is an objective fact that obesity increases a person's risk of heart disease, stroke, and a whole host of other health issues. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's true. Being fat is objectively unhealthy. I say this as an overweight gorilla myself. Anyway, then he goes on about disabled people, and I'm going to skip it because I don't think there's really a big problem of people refusing to date anyone with any kind of disability.
Now, if you're not attracted to someone, you're not attracted to them. I'm not going to tell you that you have to be attracted to this fat person or that trans person or that disabled person.
I'd ask you what the point of this video was then, but I think we all know the kind of ideological buzzword woo-woo bullshit that you're about to drop on us. So go ahead, let's get this over with.
But the more you work at unlearning your own prejudices, the more you'll be able to see people from these groups as people rather than tired stereotypes. Unlearning our own biases doesn't happen overnight, and I don't have a step-by-step instruction guide for you. But I think if you can accept that these prejudices exist in all of us, even you can identify them when they come up and work to change how you think about them.
Okay, two things I want to address rapid fire. One, no shit, they're people. Most of the time, they're referred to as trans people, disabled people, etc. And two, this is that same bullshit that Milo Stewart tried to pull with the everyone is racist, sexist, homophobic, and transphobic video. Sorry, but no matter how hard you wish for your victimhood narrative to be validated, no, not everyone is a bigot.
It will most likely be a long, slow process, but I think it's worth it. Because these dating preferences are ultimately harmful to people who don't fit into your box of what a conventionally attractive person looks like. It makes people feel isolated, alone, and unwanted to hear that they're universally unattractive to people.
If it's causing demonstrable harm, prove it, and then maybe I'll be on board. And you know what? I often do feel isolated, alone, and unloved because I don't know anyone that finds me attractive, and I've never been in a relationship or had sex. But do you know what I don't do in response to those feelings? I don't blame everyone else and claim that they're discriminating against me. That'd be bullshit, Riley. Pure fucking bullshit. So I suck it up, and I go on with my life like a normal, well-adjusted adult. Or 600-pound talking gorilla. Well, that got a bit personal at the end there. But really, what is YouTube for if not for bearing your innermost insecurities for all the world to see and mock you for? Yeah, I'm not really worried about people using that against me. I've come to terms with it, and I'm pretty sure if someone was like, haha, virgin loser, kill yourself, I would try to live as long as possible just to spite them. Anyway, that's pretty much the end of Riley's video. He goes on into some feel-good nonsense about how there's someone for everyone or whatever. The human race is fucked. Life is meaningless. Have fun while you can. That's what I say. So if you agree with that sentiment, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. If you think I'm a heartless bigot for not wanting to date every single person on planet Earth, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. I don't give a shit. Of course, subscribe if you haven't already. You can follow me on social media, and any financial support on Patreon would be greatly appreciated. As always, thank you for watching. I'll catch you next time. Stay great, apes.